My name is Councillor Catherine West. I'm the leader of Islington Council.
Great. Thank you very much for talking to us about this. Can you tell me how the change from a contracted out municipal cleaning service to an in-house service came about?
Yes, we came in as a new council about 12 months ago, and we were trying to look at all the council employed people, or people who did council work but who worked for a different employer. And what our aim was to bring everybody up to the London living wage. At that point, the London living wage was £7.95. The London living wage has since gone up to £8.30, and we feel that no one should work a hard day's work without getting at least £8.30 an hour. That's because in London the housing costs are so high that we feel that we should be really trying hard to change the culture of low pay. So we've been trying to get as many people up onto the living wage, and in this particular case it was actually cheaper for us to bring this back in-house. We saved money because the management fee to the private company was so high, and then we actually paid everybody the living wage and we actually made a saving, so it was a really good deal.
Fantastic. In addition to the cost benefits, is there any benefits to the service delivery itself?
Well, of course, it's lovely for us as members of the council to get to know the cleaning staff. That's a really nice thing, and also to have them as part of our team, because I think when you work for the council you have more loyalty to the team, and I've noticed as well in other services, if you have people who are directly employed, they have more of a commitment to the borough and they tend to stay longer. You retain them as staff, and also hopefully if we can get them to join the pension scheme as well, then it's a lifelong commitment.
Fantastic, thank you. And are you considering taking any other council services back in-house?
What we're doing in the first instance, because we're a new council and we've just come in, is to do an audit of all of the council contracts, because at the moment, now that the cleaners are on this level, we don't have anyone else who's directly employed who's on lower than £8.30 an hour. However, there are lots of other contracts which we let, where we still have to bring people up. So the key thing is to try and bring them up. Whether we bring them back in-house, we have to look at each case, because sometimes it is quite expensive to do that. In other cases it works well, like with this contract it was cheaper to bring it back in-house, but I think what we're trying to achieve is a non-ideological approach, i.e. it's not always cheaper to contract things out. Sometimes it is best just to employ them, have your own human resources department, have your own payroll, and not expect that everything's always going to be cheaper. I think we've got into a position now in the market where we think everything is always cheaper because it's going to be contracted out. Actually, what often happens with contracting out is that wages drop and that middle piece of money goes back to the private company, and what we think should happen is that money should remain with the person, because that's making our borough a better place to live, because it's meaning that our families, particularly with the cleaners who are predominantly women, it means that their families have got more of a chance to keep going, and also then they're not as reliant on housing benefit and all the other things which you have to be if you're on a very, very low wage. Because obviously if you're only getting the minimum wage, which is just around the £6 mark, there is a big difference there, and that's often have to be made up by benefit. That's more forms to fill in, that's less that you can spend on other things, and we want people to be independent of the benefit system and to work and make work worth it. Otherwise, it's not worth working, is it?
That's great, thank you.
Lovely.
One other question: in the changeover, were the unions involved?
Yes, many of our staff are either GMB or Unison branch members, and we work across the board with union colleagues, and they're very happy with our decision on this. But what we've tried to do is to focus down on every single member of staff regardless of their union membership, but we do hope that they will join the union as well, because obviously we're part of the Labour movement. The Labour movement is linked very, very strongly with the union movement. That's our roots, that's the beginning, that's where we've come from, and we mustn't forget the people who do the everyday jobs, because that's what keeps our society going.